of parliament. So that you have a salary, you have a good car, you stop highlighting issues that affect every other person.
Thank you. Continue.
Now. you realize I didn't interrupt you.
Yes.
I would want the same discipline. Okay. Now, you cannot be able to be outside like Joachim, and you want to be a monopoly of wisdom. You know about outside and inside. How are you telling us about inside that you have stopped to go, that you have refused to go? The problem normally, Jagero, is that most of the time, we applaud the politician that tells us about the problem the most, and yet all of us know the problem. A politician stands on a podium and tells you that there is youth unemployment. Then you clap. So you wonder, why are you clapping? Because we should be able to be electing the people that have the prescription for the solution, not the people that have a prescription for the problem. But most of the time today, even when you look today, who are some of our most popular politicians today, including the ones who resigned who were impeached recently, they will keep shouting about the problem. You are telling us the problem. All of us know the problem. We are in this situation because because we are.
He's talking about Shah.
Who is talking about Shah?
You are the one that you're talking.
So what I'm trying to say is, whereas we want to come up with these lame excuses that make us feel nice about ourselves, they don't solve the problem. Lame excuses include, when I go in, these people will compromise me. But today, we are able to talk about some leaders. We are able, Nani just talked about Babu Owino. He is a member of parliament. He went into a political party, and that's the reason why you know him today. That's the reason why you want to anchor your hopes and aspirations on him today. You have people who have been able to make real change. I see many people applauding Edwin Sifuna. I don't think much about him myself, but I see many people really appreciate him. But how do they end up appreciating him? It's because he got in. He became a member of parliament. He became a senator. Then he can be able to rise like that. But then, if we just want to sit and shout about the problem, and shout again about the problem, and shout again about the problem,
thank you.
How much has Boniface Mwangi really been able to change this country, apart from continuously telling us the problem that we know already?
He's running for president.
So, and if you ask me, I'll tell you what I think about that running. Because for me, I think it's just an activist tool to look for donor funding.
Surely. For now, let me give Kasmuel the right of reply.
Sure.
Kasmuel, are you coming back?
To where?
That's
yes.
I think that's a good question that Advice has asked.
Yeah.
Exactly where I'm supposed to be.
I think your mic should be able to work. The one.
It should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should it be? Very good.
Yes, it's working.
I'm exactly just for the which camera should I look at? This one. For the avoidance of all doubt, I have seen people come and try to craft this narrative. Friendships I have made along the way. That that I am sorry. I'm not. I am exactly where I am supposed to be. Just the same way. When this photo was taken, I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And I dare you to show me where I have faltered on principle. I dare you to show me this is what you were saying about healthcare in the country, and this is what you are saying now. I dare you to show me where my stance on corruption has changed. I dare you to show me where my stance on extrajudicial killings has changed. That I dare you. So there's nothing I'm coming back to, because first of all, if we are going to be honest in this room, you want to make political change in this country, yes? You know that political change comes through political parties, right? Most of you are in political parties. There are people who are trying to even talk about political parties. But you're in briefcase parties. Yes. You guys are just not bold enough to join Chama Kubwa because you're afraid of what people are going to say. You're afraid. Your party that you're praising.
They are afraid that they're not going to be nominated.
Your party that you're telling me has not been duly registered. It was bought. It is not coming from the popular people. Some of your party representatives have even bought their own social media accounts. I speak of things that I know, and it is people who are in this room. So you cannot lie to me that now you're paragons of virtue. I joined Chama Kubwa, and I told myself,
why do you have to say Chama Kubwa?
But is it not Chama Kubwa? Is it not Chama Kubwa? Tell me a party that's
He's not talking about Jubilee. No,
just a moment, Jagero. Because I believe you're scuttling this line of thought.
Yes, yes.
It is important.
Okay.
And once we are honest, once we become honest people and say that, I might disagree with you because of this particular thing. But when I zoom in, we are one and the same people. The thing that makes me do these things that I do, I've consistently said that I want all of us who are on the struggle to be audited. One time I went on public television on a panel and I said, I want all of us to be audited. And they refused. It's because I know what this ruse is. All these people who are calling themselves in civil society, things like Ford Foundation do not fund politicians, but they fund activists. And it is very easy money because you do not have to account for it. They do not require a breakdown. So the president was not a madman when he was saying that Ford Foundation, of course, I'm not here to hold brief for the president, but now we have to be honest as Kenyans because this is the thing that cost us. So I keep on telling people, fine, you do not want to join Chama Kubwa, but then you also refuse. You also refuse to be a responsible Kenyan in the things that you do. You refuse to, you want to tell me that there's a movement that exists. Our movement was leaderless, right? Our movement was tribeless, and we were fearless, right?
Do you still have a movement?
Just a moment. This is to the people, Jagero, you're my friend. If we were all those things, why is the departure of one person, a stranger you do not know? Because I don't know, you don't know me. Nobody in this room has history with me. You don't know me like that. Atujuani evil. You met me, you saw me on your phone last year, and suddenly, where does this thing come from? Where does your sense of responsibility come in? Why didn't you step up? Why didn't you hold Wakili's hand? Wakili is struggling in school, but all you're interested in is forming parties so that you can co-opt Gen Z. Why are you not making Wakili a party leader? And I'm saying him because if we audit these identity cards, he's one of the few people who are younger than me, and I was born in 97. There's very few of us. There's my comrade there. There's very few people who are born after 97 here. This young man here. What position do you hold in the party, for example, that you're in? Because you're in part of a movement. All these people, as long as we will not sit and say that this is what I want to change and this is how I want to change it, as long as all we are doing in this thing that we call the movement is come, remember, tulikuwa tumesema, this is not a thing for us to launch a political bid. I have not once said that this is what I want to be in this country. But everybody in the movement now has declared, they've declared they want to run for president. Everybody is in parties now. Everybody wants to be a party leader. People who are fighting for economic freedom. I don't want to audit it, but your party leader...
Bunge la Mwananchi.
No. His party leader from the party he comes from does not have the best history. So I sit down and I say, anytime there has been meaningful change, there has always been intergenerational convergence and collaboration. I look at it and I say, now I want you to be a responsible citizen. Assume, because it cannot be that day in, day out, you will say that you have abdicated your duty because I joined Chama Kubwa.
Okay.
And you say, I'll deal with a thing for payment because this needs to be done.
Finish
Give me
up.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
If Chama Kubwa was paying people to join them, why hasn't it paid you? Yeah. Why if government is paying people, why aren't they paying you? Because you want to make it look like people join these things. Some of us actually do have convictions. I was a leading musician in this industry.
Kasmuel, I'm actually extending your time. But
Right.
what I want you to tell us is that because I feel like each and every time you appear in public, it's like you're defending yourself. And it is because of the question that people bounce off, to you. But what is it that, for example, when we look at that picture, we see Kasmuel that was fighting for something. These days when I see you online, do you think that you have to move from this idea of keeping on defending yourself? From going forward, what is it that you want for this country? Do you want President Ruto to get a second term? Do you want Raila Odinga to be the president? Do you want the price of unga to go to 50 shillings? I think...
Jagero, I want you to show me one time I have defended myself on social media. I have never. If anything, at the height of it, I can tell you the exact date or sometime in October, I told you, I need you to even tell your mothers to unfollow me. Yes, I have never been apologetic about, I don't know why people want to frame this narrative that I'm apologetic about joining
But
Chama
I've extended your time
No,
so that you
yes,
tell us,
and
yes,
that's what
yes.
I'm getting into.
Yes, please.
You cannot ask about this Kasmuel that you knew in 2024. Why aren't you pulling up the photo of me saying Fungua Nchi in 2021? Why aren't you? I was leading the protests. I was leading artists. It's because this country does not care about an artist. That is why I wore this pinstripe suit, because this is the first time people took me seriously.
Very expensive.
It
Very
is,
expensive.
yes. It is. I wore it, and I remember I was invited at the height of our protests. I was invited to the Catholic University to come and provide entertainment. I was told that I will stay there with my keyboard as people discuss matters to do with the country. And I said I couldn't. If I remained to be an artist, you would not give two shits about who I am. I provoke you because of my proximity to Mzee Baba Raila Amolo Odinga. It pricks something. It makes you uncomfortable, or it gives you a sense of safety. I say this because you do not take the people I was on the streets with seriously. Right now, you do not ask them those questions. And you know they received money, but they don't hold the similar amount of scrutiny. They were not half as eloquent. This is not defending myself. This is me holding you accountable.
Where you want us to go?
Yes.
Because now we are done.
This, okay.
Yes.
I want a Kenya where all of us in this room are responsible.
Okay.
And that Kenya cannot be reduced to, do I want President Ruto to get a second term? Why are you discussing a second term? And none of us here can influence any policy in this country. This chama kubwa that I tell everybody to dial star 486 to join has produced the best legislators. Let me land. There is no party that has developed young leaders in this country, from President Ruto to Akina Ababu, and they have picked them as losers. Chama kubwa picked Sifuna as Secretary General after Sifuna went to the people on his own accord and lost twice. People of his home. It picked Babu Owino when he had lost in Westlands and he had a constituency. It has picked so many people that if I start counting, it becomes even your party leader and your deputy party leader. They have come from Chama kubwa.
Which party are we talking about
Safina
here? Because
party.
we know this is Jubilee.
Yes, Safina
we
party.
know ODM. Which party do you come from, bro?
So let me land, and this is what I want. This is
please,
where I want us to go.
Please wind down, because I want to give the mic to Winnie.
So this is where I want us to go, and when I say this, we have to be absolutely honest. If we want political change, let us involve ourselves in the political processes, because it cannot be like you want to sit here and on the one hand you castigate President Ruto for empowerment programs, but you, when your party launches a thing, you tell people to provide lunch. You are doing the same empowerment to woo people. It's just that you are a broke version of this president that you want to.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I have two people that I want to give the mic. I don't know where, the production, where are they going to stand to speak so that you can have them on camera? Are they going to stand here? Over here? This guy, okay, that guy will cover them. So, we've talked about parties and briefcase parties. Mr. Shitemi, you are here on the big issues of DNA party. I don't know whether that is briefcase. You'll have to tell us whether that is briefcase, but I want to give you time to talk. But then, first of all, I want to give Winnie, and then after Winnie, I'll give Shitemi, and now we will go to this gentleman. Winnie, this is your mic. You can stand. I can stand. Yes, you can stand.
Hi. Salam alaikum. Okay, I am Winnie, the president of Pan-African Movement, Africa and the Diaspora. And I agree with Kasma when he speaks about none of us here can influence policies. Because at the movement, we appreciate that we have different governments and every government is at fault. And every government has issues that need policies that can be influenced. And we are therefore, I think it's important for us just not to criticize governments, but to help governments, because there's no perfect leader. Even in families, we have fathers and mothers. In a family setup, there's no perfect father and there's no perfect mother. But if you can advise someone, if you can do policies and draw policies for governments that you can help influence and be strategically positioned, like Caswell, we can then draw policies, even whatever we're discussing here, come up with policies and documentations that we can share with our leaders and see how to influence and make them work for us as a country. I was not part of the Maandamano because I was at the Sahel region. I know what we're experiencing in Niger, Mali, and Ouagadougou. The insecurities we have really affected the country so much. And it's always difficult to pick up from zero to build a country up to a standard where we are as Kenya. It's always very painful when you see what's happening in the regions where we have a lot of guns in Africa. The Sudan, you see what's happening in Congo, in Eastern Congo. and all these issues we have as a region, East African community. So therefore, before you think, because he said that we were not supposed to leave Bunge, we were supposed to stay there or continue, but sometimes peace is very important, because from peace we are able to negotiate, from peace we are able to push our policies, from peace we are able to liberate a country economically. Because right now, I think one of the agendas of the African Union is to fight for silencing the guns in Africa. And so it's very important, even as we demonstrate, even as we push our agendas, to take into consideration that peace is number 1 priority. Then we move to economic liberation. But you cannot move into economic liberation if we are not peaceful, if we are down, if all the buildings and infrastructures are down. You can see Sudan, what's happening in Sudan. Very painful, painful, painful situation. So I think we Kenyans have been so privileged. You are, I think in the region, you are the most privileged people who've always had a leader of opposition, a strong leader of opposition, that is Raila Amolo Odinga. You've been so privileged. So you've been taking the privilege for granted. And I think it was the first time that you didn't have maybe a strong opposition, so you had to take it up as citizens, accountable and responsible citizens. So that is what we're trying to say. Economic liberation is very important. As a movement, we do policies for different heads of state and for different governments, different parliaments, and different ministries in the continent. Because much as it's important to air out our grievances, like he said, what's his name?
This is Advice.
Advice said that it's very easy for a leader, for opposition to tell you what you lack, what you're missing as a country. But it's very difficult now to be at the position where you are the one supposed to implement all these issues. So I call upon us, to do whatever we can do for our country, whether it is in the spirit of patriotism. We have all the rights, of course, to demonstrate. We have all the rights to do whatever we want to do. But in the spirit of patriotism, if you can help your country, however little you can, I think that's the way for us.
Do you think that Kenya is on the right path, and people like Joachim are not have no case against the government?
They have a case against the government. But I'm just saying each of us have a role to play. But even as we are playing our roles, it's important to note that peace is number 1 priority. Because I told you, I've spent almost the last 6 months in the Sahel, and things are really not good. So even as we are pushing our agendas, can we try to be considerate and try to be patriotic and see what we can do to fix our country?
Thank you very much. I want to give this to Bright, but Bright, I want to ask this gentleman something that he said about peace. Yeah, there is something that you've always said about peace. Can you please tell us?
Every time someone talks about peace, and there is this word that they love so much, stability, it's because you are shaking the pillars they are hanging on. I have always said that peace is like a roof and justice is a wall. We can never have a roof without a wall. For us to talk about peace, first let's ask ourselves, what is it that is threatening this peace? Everyone loves peace. You cannot rob me this phone. And when I come to ask for it, you say, let's have peace. There will be no peace until I have my phone back. Then we can talk about peace. Because the stability and peace we are talking about is not that the kind of peace she's talking about. She's talking about peace, the absence of war. A hungry man is never at peace. A parent who has failed to pay school fees for their children is not at peace, even if he's just quiet and listening. So what peace are we talking about? And why do we like comparing our country with the worst countries around? Talk about Sudan. Why are you not talking about Malaysia, the best countries that, what did they do that we are not doing? You cannot develop a country by dishing wheelbarrows to young people. You see, and those are the things we are asking about. So when I talk about economic justice, I'm talking about things that matter to everyone. Roads are bad because of money. We are talking about the issue. Every confrontation, every conflict around the world is about resources, money. Even when Hitler went against Jews, it was about money. The Versailles Treaty, it was about money. The Scramble for Africa is all about money. And the reason why we are going against President Ruto It's because of money. It's not because he's killing young people. Young people went for him before he started killing them. And because he couldn't solve the problem, so you try and silence people who are making noise. That's why Denzel Omondi ended up in a ditch in Juja. Are we supposed to keep quiet and say, let there be peace? Listen, this country, I don't know which peace we are talking about, but until every Kenyan has an opportunity to thrive without having any proximity to a powerful politician, there will be no peace.
Thank you very much. I want to give Shitemi to talk about what has been discussed here and his overall thinking about the situation. But there is something that this gentleman talked about that is, political parties that are, briefcase. I want to speak about that. I think, and just say, I mean, DNA is it a big party? Is it a briefcase party?
Yeah, so I think we heard about a spin doctor here. Where was he? And I think what is happening here is a lot of spin and narrative selling. Because you're told, first to solve a problem, you have to define the problem. Right? And what is happening here, we are creating a very false dichotomy between government and opposition. Our problem is a political establishment problem, with the head of the snake being President Ruto. You have members of parliament who have lost all sense of direction. They're a rubber stamp to the executive. The reason why Kasmuel sits here today and can fly on a chopper with Bwana Raila Odinga is because of the youth who died. Because when he stood there, as you see in that picture, is where he gained his prominence. Would he be seated with Raila today if that didn't happen? Let's be honest. No. And then who is Raila and what does he stand for? That's the other question you have to ask ourselves. What is our political establishment and what do they stand for? If you tell me to join Chama Kubwa, I'll ask you, what does it stand for? I don't join a Chama because I want to have proximity to power. Right? So where is the conviction? Where is the direction? So as you invited me to speak about the DNA party, when there's a challenge about this young man being a party leader, right? So I serve as the DNA national vice chairperson. And it's a party that has welcomed meaningful engagement with young people. That all I've heard here today is youth league.
This is
Why don't we hear about Kasmuel being something in ODM? Why the youth league? This one was being told to be the leader of tomorrow 30 years ago. Why do you need to join the youth league of ODM? What are you doing? Where are you going? Meanwhile, someone who's 80 years old is the one who's dictating your future. So we have to be very careful to avoid these narratives. We have a problem of a political establishment. And who are the leaders who can replace those people? Because we need to replace them. It's you people. And I can tell you today that I, being previously serving as the CEO, chairperson Kikao, and with a group of fellow young people choosing to join into a political party, it was not because we are looking just for power. It's because you're being driven by real conviction. That why are you joining that party? And actually our Secretary General is Barak Muluka. I heard you mention that you enjoy listening to him. What does he stand for as Barak Muluka? Does it resonate with you? Does Raila, what does he stand for? And does it really resonate with you? As you join that party, let's be honest. Who is the party in ODM? ODM starts with Raila, ends with, as Kasmuel is joining, others who are very powerful, right? So what's the sense in all that? So let's stop the narrative. As you said, let's go back to the facts. Let's define the problem, and then we'll find a solution. Or else, we risk 50 years from now being in these expensive suits, looking nice, and having the same problems that you're talking about today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I want to give the mic to the gentleman over here. But before you will just hold it, but before you speak, Kasmuel, I want to give you 1 minute. Please, 1 minute. Because he has got a right of reply. I'm anawachwa sana.
I think...
Sijui shida iko wapi.
Niseme. Because the people who think they own the movement think they have monopoly of facts. So I want to lay the parties that are present here on the table. We have Chama Kubwa, right? Then we have Safina Party. Then we have DNA. And Bright speaks and works as lyrical, but I know him. I know Bright when I say, when did DNA get registered? DNA is a briefcase party. That's what I mean. It's a party that was bought. It was not registered this year. They just unveiled a color 4 months ago. So he's a deceptive man in trying to make us think that this is a party of the future. If a party is founded on lies, it cannot become truth at the very end. So when I say Chama Kubwa, just let me land about this Chama Kubwa thing, because I will also come to Safina, where the party leader is Wanjigi and the lawyer is Willis Otieno. And we know who Wanjigi is. That's why I'm saying, if a party is to be formed, the party should have arisen from the streets, not a thing that you prepared money and went and procured. You cannot procure a party. And he also says that, why am I only joining the youth league? Just a moment, Jagero. He says that, why is it only the youth league? That is how disconnected he is. Because as young people, the people who are between 18 and 35 want to join youth leagues. He's in your Gen Z.
Yes, 1 minute is over.
Then, no, I have to finish because these conversations are rushed and we don't want to rush them so that we get ample facts. The last point which I will speak to this, and it's not even about a personal thing. Kenyans tusipokuwa wangwana wa kusema ukweli, then we cannot go anywhere, because this whole hula baloo, instead of turning it into Casmuel versus whoever,
yes,
I don't believe that this is any useful thing. Because now, how can DNA, which is less than a year old, have the same struggles that ODM, which is a party that's 20, having? How can we move this conversation forward to the point where, because you getting into parliament does not prevent me from getting into parliament. I wish you the best, so that the best legislation, if you're the smartest person in DNA, I want you to get into parliament. If you're smartest in Safina, I want you to be there, so that all of us can have this clash of ideas in a place where it matters. Because guess what? If 2 billion is lost a day, it has still been lost whether or not we speak today. We have to get into parliament and stop these...
Okay. I want to... this guy wants to speak so much, but I want you to speak fast. And then...
No, tutaongea separately. Hiyo yetu mtupatie episode yetu ya podcast. Let us please move it to the people.
Okay. Just 1 minute.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I think as a nation, we don't really understand what politics is. My name is Ongoya Fidel Castro. I'm a law student at UON. That is why, as the youth, we will lose this battle, because we don't understand what politics is. Now, to our product of lazy journalism, my question to you is on scoreboard. Caswell is my friend. My question to you is on your scoreboard, and it's also a challenge to you. I have suffered more as a person who has been aligned to ODM than you. So you say that you are very close to Raila, we have seen it, and that you have worked with comrades. I've heard you say that people are doing empowerment, and you have compared Kenyans to broke. What good are we Kenyans having from staged empowerments? And you as a person, you are in ODM Youth League. The chair of ODM Youth League is twice your age. Ketora. You know, Casmuel, to reach power, political power, you must first enter into that vehicle that will drive you there. You have done the best thing. You have entered into a political party. It doesn't matter if you join UDA or ODM. Only a fool cannot change his mind. Those people, I've heard Otieno here saying that Babu is selling TBM rhetorics. Babu has performed well. If you want to criticize Babu, reach where Babu is. In Nairobi here we are spreading bila Babu ni tabu. Bila Babu ni tabu kwa sababu ana jawabu la ajabu kwa tabu ya Sakaja. Sakaja ni njaa. And I'm telling you, so my question to you, Casmuel, you have entered the vehicle. And why I'm asking this question is, the last time we met with Casmuel, I was telling him, when we once again meet in a forum, my question to you will be, what is our progress? The person who is leading you is 40-something years old. As at now, I expect you to be the chair of the youth league. Flying around with choppers will not lead us to the end goal. You will stay in ODM, you will talk good English, you will enjoy chopper rides, you will be given V8 and those vehicles that you have. But are we reaching the end goal of power? You have entered the vehicle. Do you have the skill to drive the youth?
Thank you.
There. So if you're able to answer this and give me your scoreboard of what you have done, I think it will help.
Okay, let's give the yeah. You're losing the debate. Just
thank you very much. My name is Leonya Roslyn from Chama Kubwa, the chairperson of Young Captains. Before I say anything, I want to respond to this brilliant young man that in ODM we are already doing grassroots elections, and we are going to have our NDC, and by then, if you find that person to still be the chair, then it will be possible for you to land your case. But we are doing the grassroots election to elect national leaders, county leaders, and the epicenter of it will be in October. Another thing before I continue, it is unfair for a panel to have 4 people and there is no lady. It is very unfair. And I hope in future you will try to have female panelists on the same table, because women can also lead, women can also debate. Yeah? And before I continue, just give me 2 minutes, please, I am asking. Yeah? In as much as we are castigating them for very many things, we need to understand that as young people, our problem is not only us. Our problem is the community at home that is voting. To be honest, we come on TV and say, sijui empowerment ni mbaya, but President akita watu 2 million wanatokea. Hawa watu wanatoka wapi? Why can't they say, we don't want empowerment, we don't want motorcycles, and we are not coming? To spoil the matter, kuharibu kabisa. The president called the young people in State House. I was shocked to see the peers I was with on the streets in State House, and they still had the audacity to come out of State House and tell us that they were not given the motorcycles. Ulikuwa unaenda hapo kwa nini kama utaki huyo mtu? Kusema tu ukweli, tuambiane ukweli kama wa Kenya, si ndio? If we want to castigate these people, the people to castigate is the people at home. Kama mnasema tu amtaki empowerment, and the Kindiki comes to your area and you don't show up, to be honest, you will address nobody. Ni ukweli. So I'm calling upon all Kenyans, if indeed you don't want empowerment, show the president that you don't want by not showing up. But as long as you continue showing up, he feels that that is the solution to your problem, and he will continue doing so. And that is why he's inviting people on tribal basis to State House, because you have not told him this is not right. My question is not only to them, but to all of us. As Gen Zs, we have been seen by our elders as disruptive. Mimi nimekuwa kwa streets na nimeenda kwa ground. Unaambia mtu, mimi nataka kukua MCA. Unaweza nipigia kura, they're like, no. Mtangoja kwanza. And the reason they are bringing out is we are disruptive, we are chaotic. And I am asking all of us here, how can we package ourselves to be appealing to these elderly voters, because they are going to vote? Young people might not, of course 2027 watatokea, but to be honest, in 2027, the old people will vote more than the young people. That one is very true. So I am asking anyone within the panel or on that seat, how can we package ourselves as young people to be appealing to these elderly voters? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like you to, when I give you the mic, go straight to the question, because we're short of time and we still have another panel, okay? So, for fairness, these are young people, the 2 of them. I want to give Odoyo Widi, then I want a lady from this side, okay? Then we move in that function. Odoyo, karibu.
Where do you want me to stand? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Odoyo Owidi. Bwana asifiwe. I hope I will not change the direction of this conversation very drastically. But I want to tell you, it is also not good to split this country into young and old. After all, we are the same people. Those who are young, whatever the old are eating now, you will get it. But if you take what the old are eating now, they will never get it. That is number 1. Number 2, the biggest debate that is here is what you people want to bring, the young versus President William Ruto. Is that correct? In fact, the youth went to the streets and they told us the reason why they were going to the streets was the finance bill. When the finance bill was amended, they said they want it dropped. When it was dropped, they said Ruto must go. I want to tell you, somebody was driving you and you didn't know. Mark Twain once said, it is easy to fool people, but it is difficult to convince them that they have been fooled. I've been struggling to convince you that some people fooled you. I listened on 24th June evening when Rigathi Gachagua spoke from Mombasa, and he was telling us that those Gen Zs have no leadership, they have no tribe, they have no political party. Where were the Gen Zs to say this by themselves? When Raila Odinga suggested that now we have intergenerational conclave, all the way from America, Rigathi Gachagua told us they will not sit in that. Where were the Gen Zs to tell us that themselves? When don't interrupt. You will have time, you will have time. Let me tell you one thing. We have been talking like President William Ruto is a devil that should be our manifesto of going home. But I want to tell you that you people who are seated here were not children in 2022. And what I am going to say about the past presidents is not so that Ruto can continue doing bad things because they did. It's to remind you that these people have chosen that Ruto should go, but there was nothing wrong when Uhuru was doing the same things and Kibaki was doing the same things. Let me tell you something about Adani. Adani was a PPP project to build a new airport terminal at Jomo, and then they come and manage it. Uhuru built the expressway, and those who built it are managing it. And you said nothing. My brothers and sisters, Uhuru built SGR from Mombasa straight to his farm in Naivasha, and used National Youth Service to fence it, and got paid for the acres and acres of land the railway ran through, and they said nothing about it. President Uhuru came to power and found that the budget was 1.6 trillion. When he left, it was 3.3 trillion. It means there was an increase in budget every subsequent year. Nobody complained about a finance bill which was higher than the previous year. When fuel went up in 2022, when we were approaching elections, he gave a subsidy when it had gone to 250. And we thought that was good. But it was a loan President William Ruto would have to come and pay. In March, there was a conference in Limuru called Conference Limuru 3. Some of you here understand Kikuyu and you know what was said, so I'm not going to say about anything. But if you didn't, it is still there 4 hours of vitriol against the person of President William Ruto, who was just about to read his first budget. And the speaker after speaker said, if we take this power, no non-Kikuyu will take it again. It is still there. Let me tell you, in this world we live in, propaganda controls us by first controlling the media. And we believe what the media says without complaint. I saw when a board member recently resigned, the media headline was reading, somebody has resigned again from the Ruto government. Who is a board member in a government anyway? Mischievous reporting. We need peace in this country. And Kenya is a country full of resources, which we must share equitably and equally, all of us, including the very leadership positions. If I would ask you, other than the rhetoric that corrupt, and you cannot put anything on the table. During Kibaki, we had corruption that had names, even baptism names also. We had Anglo-leasing. During Uhuru, we had the Eurobond, had names. Since Ruto became to power, we are yet to reach a serious corruption which has a name that we can talk about. In fact, what you need to do, young men and old men alike, let's keep any government of the day in check that they do nothing wrong. But when you want to say that you want them to go, and if you want them to go, have you told us who is going to take over? Wait. When I sit down, you will tell me everything you want to tell me.
And then I give to this guy.
Sawa. So, if you want to repair Kenya, those leaders you have, the ones, some of them you voted for, make them do the right things. But when you come telling some people to go, we'll go the Somali way, we'll go the Rwanda way, or we'll go the Sudan way.
Thank you.
I want to give this gentleman.
Just a minute.
Yes.
Let me clear this very properly. We will disagree, and that is fine. We have to disagree, okay?
Yeah.
And Odoyo is not afraid of the disagreements, neither are we, okay? This is intellectual. We can discuss it. We can tell him to sit. We can also tell you as a youth to sit, okay?
Yeah.
But we're going to have a respectful conversation. And what I would like to reinforce is that if you give him the mic, please, straight to the question. Of course, although he's an elder, we respect that, and we've given him his time to air his voice, okay? We appreciate that. Jagiro, take it over.
Yes, I wanted to give an opportunity to the lady over there. Can you please remind us your name? Yes, Leonia. Yes, talked about how do we go forward from here. And there is also something that was washering you the other time. I would like you to say something, and then I'll give this gentleman an opportunity to also say something.
Thank you, but let me just pick it up from where our elder has actually left from. And one of the issues, especially that the young people of this country are trying to really run away from, is the politics of individualization and the politics of tribes. And that is why, even when the point is very poignant and very important, but when it now starts narrowing down and starting to segment them into their tribes and cocoons of individuals, that's why you see they will always reject. Because that is something that we are not interested in. We want to have a conversation around what do we do going forward as young people. Now that the country is here, what do we do? Not who is which tribe. Yeah, and I think it should be very, very important that I really, really start from there. I want to disagree with my brother here, not on the basis of where he comes from, not on the basis of who is his party leader, but on the basis of ideology. And that is what we want these conversations to be about, because when we go it back to that direction, we retain the country and retain the status quo. And so going forward, I wanted to, and the question that Alionia asked, and she's a very serious member of the ODM party. When there was a banter about political parties, I was silent because I think I'm the only one from the ruling party, from a party that has been a ruling party. Because, you know, ODM is an academy. It trains people who want to do.
Manchester United.
Yeah, so... And so when you are an academy, you have a responsibility to shout highest. You have a responsibility... You have a responsibility to give yourself, you need to give yourself new names, Chama Kubwa and all those kind of things. But be that as it may, on the subject of political parties, I was very keen when my friend from DNA was speaking, and I hope there was a realization that he had a lot to say about what ODM is not doing, but he said nothing about what DNA is doing. And now that is usually the problem. When you're a briefcase political, and you cannot castigate
Are you also trying to say that DNA is...
Can I speak in silence, Jagero? When you cannot be able to dismiss youth leagues of political parties because they really play a role in the political parties. Remember, youth leagues of political parties are constitutional, and they are part and parcel of the registration process of a political party. Even DNA, in fact, if DNA has no youth league, then it's a dangerous political party. because the party can only get registered that way. We also need to understand that don't push young people into thinking that it's good for you to go where you become big, because you can be big in a small place. And that is why you are butchering young people to looking for small entities where they can be called Secretary General. Trust me, there are small political parties today that would be willing to call Caswell party leader. There are very small entities today that can be able to call anyone anything. Same to DNA. DNA, you can become very big in DNA, but it's a very small entity. So you have to choose how you want to play. Do you want to be part and parcel of a big fish, or you want to be a very small thing in a very small place? Remember, and as I finish, Jagero,
Yes, please finish.
Remember, when we are talking about political parties...
Can somebody give Bright the mic, please?
When we are talking... When we are talking, can I finish?
Yes, we are finishing.
Yeah, can I finish?
Yes, yes, please.
When we are talking about political parties, we must be able, first of all, I encourage all young people to be part and parcel of a political party, because it is the process that gets us somewhere. But also the political parties must be extremely honest. Don't fall into this trap of political parties that just morph. DNA, for instance, is a political party led by a former personal assistant of Honorable Musalia Mudavadi. The DNA is a political party, for instance, whose people inside that political party are just apologists of ANC, and after ANC has merged and gone to UDA, then they have become a political party. So let us not be able, in as much as I really protect their view of being a political party, they must not butcher other political parties so that they stand strong.
Okay.
Let them stand strong on the basis of the things that they are able to do, and on the basis of the promise that they promised this country, and not on the basis of butchering other political parties.
Thank you.
I am the only one here from a political party that has led this country, and I'm silent. I'm not even bragging about it. So we should be able, these small political parties should not
Come on,
confuse
okay. I want to give Bright a right of reply. But before that, you've been trying to talk. And please say something before Bright says what she has to say.
Good evening. He's talked about being in a big party and being part of a big thing. Tell me anything that becomes big without ever being small.
Can you speak in silence? He asked a question. Can you speak? No, it is rhetorical, bro.
He did say it is.
They say that you must start small, right?
Yeah.
Every party has a history. Even Chama Kubwa, we know where it came from. It morphed into being what it is today. And there is nothing wrong with morphing. It's only being static is not growth. And I want us to look at what really is the issue. What is the problem? Because the elder here has talked about Ruto must go. Where did that come from? How did we come to a place where we decide now, no, Ruto has to go? If I have to refer to my memory very well, the term Ruto must go was brought to us by Raila Odinga. It is not of our own making. It is actually Raila who saying that even if you give William Ruto 100 years, there will be no change. And I believe it. It is not my own words. I trust Raila Odinga more than you do. You understand? When he joined the broad-based, I said, no. We've deviated from what we've always been fighting for. Because there were issues that led us to an agreement that actually Ruto has to go. What did Ruto say before he became president? That you, a hustler, will become a dynasty today. The only hustler who has become a dynasty is William Ruto. He used to sell chicken. Nowadays he sells chicken and eggs. He's become a dynasty. You understand? The issue was the things he promised to solve. There were questions he was asking. I was in Azimio, but I paid a lot of attention to everything William Ruto said. I even remember where he said it, which rally. I remember everything. There's a time he asked, he was at State House and he was complaining about fuel prices. That how is it possible that fuel in Uganda is cheaper than fuel in Kenya, and yet it passes through Kenya to Uganda? I was in Azimio, but I said, wait a minute, how is that possible? And today we are asking the same question. How is it possible? No, when we ask that, we are told we are threatening peace. It is President Ruto who came and asked questions about the workability of institutions. He said, how much money does KICC collect? Who pockets the money? And I also asked, wait a minute, where's the money? I want to believe that he followed the paper trail and found the money, but he has never told us where he took the money. But he knows where the money goes, and he became the new person who pockets the money. Those are the issues we are raising. The young people have a problem with the government because we are not seeing the fruits of our labor. That you work so hard, but the fruit of your labor is seen on someone else who doesn't work as hard. Our friend here has talked about being part of a party that has led this country. The party he's talking about, from 2013 to 2023, we cannot explain 6 trillion where they took the money. The issue of debt, they are very responsible. They need to explain. And actually, make a phone call to your former party leader and tell him to tell us where the money is. We are not just having a problem with the Ruto. And actually, if we talk, our elder has said we did not have a problem with it then, but we have a problem with it today. There is always a first time in life where you realize things, awakening to new realities. That wait, this my wife doesn't know how to dress well, but I know today. But mtu afai kukuuliza mbona hukujua hiyo jana. Ama namna gani jameni? Simama namna hiyo.
Can we stop there? Can we stop there?
I just want to finish.
Can we stop there? Amalize.
Nimalize ama nisimalize? So, there are issues I don't want us to talk about personalities. What are you not doing? Any parties? No. The reality is that we are looking for something to stand on our own feet. I've always said that we have a problem, the 5 big problems. How can we solve the issue of debt, which takes away half our budget? How can we solve the issue of domestic borrowing, which denies credit from me? You cannot access it. How can we solve the issue of education? It only takes 195 billion a year. How can we make sure that it becomes a civic duty to everyone and not a privilege to the few? How can we access health care? You don't need to show up and you are told this thing is... SHA works when you are depositing money. It never fails. Lakini ukitafuta services, at the system sijui nini imekwama. Why should a system we built with 100 billion fail to guarantee health care? There is that young woman, mwenye alienda kwa hospitali akaambiwa, this swelling of yours, it needs to swell more so that SHA can take care of it. Are we supposed to keep quiet because similar thing happened during Uhuru's time? We were not as politically aware as we are. But I understand our elder. He has seen corruption for 40 years. He cannot imagine life without corruption.
Thank you.
Let me finish
Thank you.
Can we go to Kanungi to Shitemi? Shitemi, you have 1 minute, please.
Yeah.
1 minute, please.
So,
1 minute.
so again, guys, sorry. I'll avoid going into personalities.
Yes.
or making it a dick measuring contest.
I wanted to also add, can you address the role of political parties, especially DNA?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, a little education for even Caswell, who mentioned DNA was bought. No.
I'm being very
We can go on.
because I have more.
We can go on.
So just keep it DNA.
Please
keep it
allow
DNA.
me to speak in silence.
Let it be.
Because he said that DNA was bought the other day. But the party has history.
Also, we
Okay. Can you,
I've stopped.
Okay.
Zima yangu.
yes.
So DNA is a former party called USP Kenya. It rebranded, right, into DNA Party. And the gentleman to my left, Bona Advice, who spoke very proudly about the Jubilee Party and how they led this country. I think he should be quite ashamed to even talk about it. Because the problems we are facing today were caused, they began, yes, many, many years ago, but they started hitting us with that debt that we are struggling with today. We cannot stand here and tell people, join this party, yet we've not addressed the issue of economic justice. We cannot have justice where we are paying debt, yet the people who stole the money are still walking around. Because they use that money to buy your vote. They use that money to have these nice suits. They use that money to buy those choppers. They use that money to call their chama chamakubwa. So remember, gentlemen, let us not lose sight of the conversation. The conversation is about accountability, about corruption, and what DNA stands for is that. And that we are welcoming young people to step up to leadership. Even Ruto used to be Jirongo's PA. Do you know that? Yeah. I've heard here someone calling Barack Muluka former PA of Mudavadi. Surely. So let me let me finish there. Can I finish, gentlemen? Gentlemen, thank you. So I welcome all you young people, all you progressive minds, even from the older generation, that we now have a party that is starting small, but is giving platforms to the new generation leaders and aspirants, whether you're young, whether you're old. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been a good one on this first panel. Of course, we appreciate your insights. My brother, you've done well. Your party failed us, but we appreciate for the good things you did.
No, then I must be able to have a right of reply.
What are you saying?
No, I must have a right of reply. Because he cannot
Nyonga,
say that my party fails us. He cannot be able to tell us that my party...
Can you give him 1 minute?
1 minute.
But he doesn't...
Then I must have a right of reply.
Yes.
Yeah? First of all, I don't want to say that, and I don't even think that the Jubilee government was the best government Kenya has ever had. But there are things that the Jubilee government was able to do. And part of the things that we pride ourselves, especially, that's why I defend the youth leagues. The youth league of the Jubilee Party entrusted that the first government that started having youthful appointments at senior levels started with the Jubilee government. And that is when we started having the youngest assistant ministers.
Thank you.
Number two,
Thank
the
you. No, I'm not going to give you up to. I'm not going to give you up to. You know what you believe in.
I want to decipher those
you know,
things.
the moderator.
We give him 1 minute.
So
1 minute is over.
Exactly.
So
it cannot be
the mic.
over by you and not by the moderator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give him.
Unless
30
you,
seconds.
Unless you withdraw what you say.
I've withdrawn.
Yeah.
30
So
seconds.
I'll just. No, you see, there are several things that the young people can actually be able to do. That is why the ODM party today has a person who is over 40 years as the chair of the youth league. But it doesn't mean that young people cannot join ODM just because there is a problem. They can be part and parcel of this solution. And that's why I'm telling you the things that we're able to do as the youth league of the Jubilee Party when I chaired that youth league. And we're able to have the first board appointments that happened on young people. The first things that happened at that time. The government internship program that this country enjoys today is a product of the youth league of the Jubilee Party. So you cannot be able to say that the Jubilee Party failed this country. If anything, give me time.
Of course,
let me start about it.
No. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been amazing. Of course, for every bad thing that they did, there's a good thing they did. Every government has its failure. Just like our hands, we have the light side and we have the dark side. All of us have it. Thank you so much, Joachim Simiu. We wish you all the best in your healing journey. Thank you so much, Kasmuel. Chama ni kubwa. We are praying for you. We've been there, we know it, we know how it goes. Seek more counsel from us who've been there, because those who've been there can teach more than those who are getting in. But we wish you all the best, and deep down our hearts, we have some sweet spot for ODM. Everybody somewhere has that sweet spot. And we pray.
Even Joachim.
And we pray, even Joachim, and we pray that Raila may see the light towards 2027. Thank you so much. I think we go to the next session. We are going to go to the next session in terms of changing the panel, but then it's very fiery in terms of the question, okay? So DJ, give me some tune as we move to the next session.